building,
and,
so
They
it's
did
gonna
change the
sound
rules,
good.
but there's no sheriffs to enforce those ordinances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Complain about it all night on Facebook about the fireworks, but I mean,
Yeah. Because,
anyway.
yay!
I apologize. I was under the impression that it was at 7.
You're on Castavo time, Sal.
My apologies.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry, you guys. I was in my office and you didn't text me, I'll show up at 7.
That's okay, I'm really glad you're here. You know, we're just gonna do like, we just gave them all a history of when we spoke last, you know, when she met you at the LULAC and what the challenges that you're going through and stuff. And I know that, you know, we have LULAC members here, we have community members that wanted to come and hear what this is about, you know, and how we can support you.
Well, thank you. So first and foremost, my name is Sal Jimenez, born and raised in Castroville, local guy here. As you all know, I'm a local small business owner in Salinas with a couple of different businesses. I decided during 2020 when the Red Barn came up as an investment purpose to invest in our local community and trying to figure out many different things what we can do with that facility. Currently it's the flea market with a permit for 7 days a week. I'm running a small entrepreneur program there. We've got a few students from Palma that are there learning how to create small business, so forth. I'm a big believer in that, especially for the next generation. So trying to think outside the box, I was trying to figure out what can we do with this facility, with the infrastructure that's there. So when Supervisor Phillip was here, as a supervisor, I said, what is North County missing? And I think North County and our area here was missing is a venue of its own. And what does that mean? Something where they could have corporate events. Well, this is my wife Priscilla.
Hi.
Corporate events, weddings, quinceañeras, local community events, car shows. We have a full food permit, we have a spirit permit, we have 900 parking spots, so it can accommodate that. The Artichoke Festival did approach me last year and said, hey, we'd really like to see if we can bring back the Artichoke Festival. If it was my opinion, I love the Artichoke Festival in Castroville because that's where it belongs. Being with everything else, I said I would love to be able to host the Artichoke Festival there. So going through all this, there's a lot of infrastructure work in there. We fixed the Red Barn with the suppressant system. I believe when you were on the planning commission, there was a lot of that where the county said, hey, you can't have anything in there until you fix the sprinkler system. So we did that. The next thing is building restrooms and facilities. So I'm doing a wastewater treatment system out there to have brick and mortar restrooms. And I support that because I think it validates having a venue there. I've done some research of other flea markets, like for example, Santa Fe Flea Market. They have multiple music festivals, they have concerts and so forth. I went to the Modesto Flea Market. They also have the same venues, same thing. So I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, but just see what history of these other flea markets have done. It's no secret that Sunday is a big day out there, but anything in between, it's really not being utilized to its full potential. We went out and reached out to the ice skating rink that we do in Monterey, and I said, hey, why can't we do that here for the community and do ice skating rink out there? They said, well, we'd love to have that. Secondly, being able to do a haunted house during Halloween, and that would support our local community here. And I did go back and I said, well, Monterey has a fairgrounds, King City has a fairgrounds, Watsonville, Santa Cruz has a fairground. Where does North County have? We don't have anything. So I go, I want to be able to create this for that. There is a couple of challenges working with county staff. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've been pushing hard for 4 years and I'm getting to the edge of my patience with them because I've gone through so many different planners, so many different things, and it's like playing chutes and ladders. 1 minute we're right at the end and then we fall right back. So I've hired, I think, the best of the best. I've got Tony Lombardo as my land use attorney, Joel Panzer, which used to be part of the the county for many years, he's a consultant. Dale Ellis, so Dale Ellis used to run the planning department and building
My
department.
boss before I worked there.
Yes.
Oh my God, so what's he doing, consulting now?
So Dale works for Tony Lombardo's
Okay,
office,
okay.
and so and I got to the end of my road where I was like, look, either we're gonna do this, or I'm gonna put my energies into something else. And all because I think that I've shown the county, like I'm trying to do the right thing, but every time we do one thing, they add something else, and they add something else, and they add something else, and so I go, okay, there was 2 prior owners before me, they're both deceased, I don't wanna be the third. So it's like either we're gonna do something, and we're gonna get it done right, and I don't mind investing the resources for it. And at the same time, what I am asking them is, A, allow me to have these expanded uses for a variety of different reasons. 1, it'll fit the community needs. 2, I think we can have, positive outcome there from youth entrepreneurship. But the third thing is, the investment that's gonna be put back in there is gonna probably be north of about $4 million. So I explained to them, where do you guys think this money's gonna come from? I'm not gonna go to my backyard and pick the trees. However, I'm not gonna lay this on the small business owner either, because these folks on Sunday depend on, that's the revenue for what they do to support families and so forth. So you have to allow me to expand my use and expand my revenue base in order to pay for this at X amount of time. So if I don't get this, then the bathrooms alone is $2 million. The parking lots, the pavement's another $1.5 million, times everything else in between, plus what I've already spent and my investment. So what I explained to them is, they really want the bathrooms done. They're like, look, Sal, you have to put bathrooms in. I go, okay, that's $2 million. I've already spent X on the suppressor system and everything else, plus my investment. If I add that cost back to the small business owner, I go, it's gonna hurt them. If I turn around and say, okay, I'm gonna invest X amount in the parking lot, now when you folks come into the flea market or anything else, it's $30 to park, you're like, I'm not going there, it's $30 to park. So I go, so we have to think outside the box on how to pay for this. If you allow me to have the uses that I want, and I went in there and I added everything, from go-kart racing, to paintballs, to this, but I said, the community was really kind of in an uproar with everything else. I said, okay, I'll take this out, but you have to allow me to do corporate events, weddings, quinceañeras, car shows, daytimes, music festivals. We already have the permit for the food, everything, so I go out and I look at the Artichoke Festival. And when I did my research, I go, they sell new and used items, they have food permit, they sell beer and wine, they have parking. I go, I already have all that. I just need for you guys to understand and give me the permit and not having to go through all this red tape to do it. I don't know if you guys were familiar that we're gonna do a freestyle concert out there at the beginning.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
So the freestyle concert was there, and I'll be honest with you, it was a big hit. They had probably 1,500, 2,000 tickets sold prior to that, prior to even starting 2 months before. Then the county got really an uproar, like, wait a minute, you don't have a permit. And I said, well, we have all this, we're gonna do a daytime concert. And they made it really hard, like, you don't wanna push the envelope, so we canceled and said, look, I told the promoters, this is a marathon for me, not a sprint. So if I start off incorrect, then I'm gonna run into some issues with county. So I canceled the event, returned the money to them, and then they went to do it somewhere else. But that kinda gave me a taste of, there's a need for that in our community for that. And the weather's great out there. It's 10 degrees hotter than it is in town. It's 10, 15 minutes from where we're at. Caltrans fixed the bypass for the traffic control. On Sundays, we do about between 8,000 and 10,000 people with no issues. So for me, when I go back to the county, I go, we're already used to crowd control, because we have 4 years of a proven fact of doing every Sunday. So I take that same formula into a Saturday with hyped up more security, et cetera, and we just do business as normal. So it's not like I don't have the experience to do this. I've kind of been here before when I did Bankers Casino, it was the same way, where they're like, oh my God, this is gonna happen. 15 years later, we're just another business like everybody else. And so with this here, yes, I will need community support, especially North County community to say, we want this, because I think the voice of North County is very well respected. Supervisor Church, he's for it. At the beginning, he was kind of like, and then I think as things went on, he was like, you're right, because we have a great need in North County where people are doing big parties and festivals in their homes, and they don't have anywhere to go do them. So I believe he supports it. I reached out to Luis Alejo, he loves it. Supervisor Lopez believes in it. He's like, hey, your supervisor likes it, we're not gonna go against it. So, but in between everything else, I do think that there is some challenges. I'm willing to make the investment, ready to make the investment, but I don't wanna make the investment on top of the small business, because then it's gonna hurt the small business. So, saying that, that's why I want the expanded uses for Fridays and Saturdays and maybe even during the weekend. And I get calls for all kinds of different uses. But at this point, I'm just like, look, we're this close to getting the wastewater system approved. Monterey County Health Department has already approved it. I think we're at the final stages. And when I first bought this place, we had a budget of $900,000 for the wastewater treatment. Well, the county took over 3 years to get it approved. Now it's at $1.7 million, so it's double like everything else. And so the longer I take to try to do this, the more expensive it's gonna get. So I'm like, look, give me my permit so I can get this thing built. But yeah, I'm open for any questions that you guys might have, and I can answer.
I'm Rick. I'm a trustee with Martha at the district. You should have more town halls, like in other parts of the thing, and you'll receive feedback, probably positive, or things that maybe people would like, just like this, like at the Grange in Prunedale, or, wherever else you could think of. And you answered the question. I had a question, can promoters hit you up and say, hey, I want to throw a music festival or whatever? So you kind of answered that one. And then eventually, if the ball gets rolling, like however you want to go, or is there like maybe a nonprofits you're going to eventually give back to and stuff like that?
I believe in that. One of the things that I do feel is very important is I'm a small business owner, and I learned that. So as the young kids, there's a gal, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but her daughter sells beef jerky. And so I was like, yeah, come on board. She's paying to sell beef jerky to help pay for her school at Palma. So she wrote me a nice letter, and I gave that to the team and said, look, this is exactly what I'm trying to go for. So giving back to nonprofits is great in this area, because we're gonna target this area. Everything from working with the local schools. So let's just say we do an event. Okay. I remember when I was going to North County, and the Artichoke Festival was here, all the football players would have to pick up garbage. That was part of our work, but then they gave money back to the program. So that's things that I would take in and say, okay, I'll go back to the schools and go, hey, give me a team of your athletes, or music programs, or any other program. Help us there. We put a budget aside so that you guys can get that to help out on your infrastructure. I'm a firm believer of that. I think that that's a big thing to do in our community. I'm open to work with nonprofits on certain things that they might have. Yes?
I'm Debbie Martin. Remember you guys from the Clica? That's when I worked at North County, was with you guys. I wasn't even aware that you even bought the Red Barn, and I'm just saying.
Okay.
So I'm going like what Rick said, you should have more town hall meetings, so we can even have people come, because I wasn't even aware of any of this was happening at all, you know what I mean? And I'm sure you would get so much backing because of everything. Who better than to show the youth, the young person, how to start a business, how to go about a business, coming from a small town than you, and having that to offer them. You know what I mean? Because
Sure.
you've made it, you know, and that's something you know, you're trying to pass on, and also to do stuff for the community, you know. I'm glad you said about the Artichoke Festival, because that was my one thing as being Artichoke Queen this year. I'm California Artichoke Queen. So my one thing, what I told them is, and I'm starting off small with them. I said, why can't we not at least, because they're doing the plaza thing, you know, I said,
Yeah.
why can't we not at least have the parade?
Sure.
I said, you know, start off small, push, you know, get our feet in there again. I said, why can't we have that? That's what Castroville was. I says, to people that don't live here, they don't understand what the Artichoke Festival meant to those that live here. It wasn't just about a festival. People that moved away, that moved far away and everything, I go, Artichoke Festival, they planned all year to come back home. It was a reunion
You're correct.
where parents got to see their kids again, their grandkids, because of that festival weekend. So even if you have it even at the Red Bar, it's perfect, it's back home. You know what I mean? It's here, it's not in Monterey, you know, or anything, it's home. But I think you should put it out there more what you're doing, cause I like I said, I wasn't even aware of it. I knew the Red Barn had been sold, but I didn't know anything really about it. So, I mean, if I don't know, I mean, how many other people don't know?
And that's
About
where,
it.
did you wanna ask a question?
Oh, I was just gonna say, Jordan Caballero, I appreciate the work that you're doing. I played ball with your brother, Martin,
Oh,
back
yeah,
in the day. And, you know, I know there's been some media coverage of this situation, but I feel like there could be a lot more.
Mhm.
I don't know what the plan is for social media, so like Debbie said, everyone here is pretty involved and pretty up to date on things, and a lot of people didn't even know this was going on. So this is part of it. And a lot of the people that are like the LULAC meeting or all these appointed positions, it's the same people that are gonna say no.
Yeah.
99% of the time, they're gonna say no. So we have to organize around that and overwhelm them and
Mhm.
force it to be a yes, because we're just outnumber them 10-1. So, but if people don't know about it, then you're fighting this battle on your own.
And
So
show up at meetings to
there-
support
yeah.
you.
And there's
So
a
they
way to
can
do it,
say-
I think, tactfully, as far as getting the word out. Obviously, the more you get it out, the more you're inviting criticism also.
Correct. Yeah.
But I think, which I understand, you wanna be conservative, but at the same time, I think there's more support than there is criticism. But you have to give an opportunity for those that support it to know about it and cast that vision, because, I think it has a lot of potential. And you're right, just the Artichoke Festival issue alone could be the game changer, because
Mhm.
that has been a thing brewing in the community for a long time. Ever since it left, it's just hasn't been right. And the Party in the Plaza has been awesome, but it's, if there could be maybe some kind of a combination, I think that,
Yeah.
obviously, Red Barn has much better infrastructure than Castroville does. So that might be a compromise that everyone could kind of, be on board with, combining those things again and bringing it back to North County. That alone might be a big campaign to get support.
Sal, I'm sorry, I have to leave to pick
Oh, no.
up my grandson
No
from
problem.
football,
No problem.
Bulldogs.
No problem.
So.
Thank you, Deborah, keep me
Thank you,
posted.
but you can get a hold of me,
So-
anybody.
Thank
Oh, we'll
you.
find you. You're
And,
fine.
you know,
Where do you stand right now? I know you had a LULAC meeting recently, and no surprise there, what you heard.
You know, LULAC was, I don't think I got a sense of a no. There were, the concerns that I heard from LULAC is your vanilla concern. Traffic on 101, et cetera, but that is not stuff I control. Now, being that we have a high foot traffic area, we have illegal vendors on the San Benito County side, and I've explained to them, I go, look, it's not Monterey County, it's San Benito that set up vendors there. We've offered opportunities for them to come on board, they choose to stay there. It's kind of out of my jurisdiction. I go, that is something between Supervisor Church to reach out to San Benito and do that, because the community there does get concerned and thinking, well, why is the Red Barn expanding out by the freeway? And I go, well, that's not us. So there is some of those challenges. LULAC, I don't think is a hard no. I really feel that they'll look at it and say, okay, is there traffic issues on the 101? Yeah, but what really resides from it? What's because of that? It could be anything from state doing work there, just congestions from Monterey, because Monterey Bay does create a lot of congestion because of that exit. I honestly, if you ask me, where I stand with the county, I don't see it failing. I see it in approval.
Yeah. What I meant was, in the calendar, where?
October 9th, I'm going back to the planning commission.
October 9th.
Yeah, I'm going, that we postponed, the September planning commission meeting. So Mary Israel's finishing up her report, and they had done it to suspend it until maybe the end of the year. We said, no, we wanna go to October 9th. Honestly, I'm okay if they deny it, because I'll go to the supervisors and they'll see it clear. I don't think the planning commission's gonna deny it, but I do feel I have enough reasoning why I'm asking for this expenditure, because of the cost of the infrastructure. And I explained to them, if you guys are gonna push hard to say you have to build the bathrooms, great. But like any other business, I have to figure out how to pay for it, or else it's not gonna work. If I turn around and tell the businesses, by the way, your spot was $50 or $80, now it's $250, it's gonna kill that business. They don't want that, and I don't want that, because believe it or not, you have 350 plus small businesses there with families depend on it and so forth. So you just can't raise rates for nothing without having justification of how we get paid.
But October 9th is a very short period of time to get the community more involved. So time is against us now, talking about a month. The suggestions you heard here, I think the right amount, you want people out there to support you. And more importantly, people that went to school with you.
Correct.
And that's a big plus, you know, I supported you from the very beginning, so.
Yeah, no, you
so-
were
so
very good.
No problem there, so, but you need more, go out here in front of the planning commission and support you. It's, you know, it's an unknown, there's a lot of things they brought up, you know, I guess, I have to speak, but I speak without it. A lot of it was already addressed. The traffic was addressed. That's the bridge, is the bridge built?
Yeah.
The bathrooms, you're working on it. All you're asking for is extending the use permit.
That's it, yeah.
It's, I mean, everything else already been addressed.
So, and my point was to them, is all the infrastructure stuff that they had asked for, I cleared up all the red tags, fixed the barn, fixed the bridge. Traffic has been done and handled with hiring more jobs, so I created more jobs. They probably had 4 people, we probably got a staff of 30 people on a Sunday. So that's expanded on the jobs on the weekends for folks. So what I'm explaining to the commission is, we currently do 8 to 10,000 people on a Sunday. So if we do a festival, you're talking half of what I'm already doing. So it's a reduced use, so it's not like we're gonna go double the impact of where we're at. So logically, it makes sense to go, okay, well, I have a permit already, and if I wanna ramp it up on a Saturday, bring in 10,000 people, and on a Friday, my permit allows me. I'm just saying, allow me to expand my use a little bit more on something I already have. The ingredients for what I wanna do is already on paper, but you are correct, support means a lot from community. I'm not against that, I do need that. At the same time, because it shows that we're trying to do something positive. Yeah, I do have, some restrictions. For example, there'll be some timelines. We're not gonna be past X amount of time. You gotta stay within the noise ordinance of so many decibels out there, so we're gonna have to be conscious of all that. We're not gonna be doing concerts past the cutoff time, which is 10 PM in Monterey County. And I don't wanna upset the neighborhood there. I reached out to the neighborhood and I said, look, I get it. We'll make it so that it's way before my daytime stuff, so it doesn't inconvenience them being around there, hearing amplified music. But there is challenges. I'm not gonna disagree, and it can turn either way. They say, no, it's not gonna happen, then my response is, how do we give you guys brick and mortar restaurants? And so everything's a numbers factor on it.
Yes, it's, depends, you know, what are the words, you know, what.
Well, that's why we brought him here, right? We brought him here, and you know what, so, I did as the one that went to the meeting.
Oh,
And I
okay,
remember I
gotcha.
called you because we didn't know about your proposal until we went to planning commission because of the ADU, situation that we're trying to propose.
Correct.
So she gave a history, earlier before you got here, of some of the challenges that you dealt with that day, right? We also heard that, you know, you were thinking of doing go-karts and a drive-in. Is that off the table?
They don't want it.
And when you say they, it's LULAC?
I think it's LULAC, the community, I took the drive-in theater, concept from Monterey Fairgrounds during COVID, when people were rolling in with,
Yeah, I went.
their cars, and it was just, I said, that's a great idea, and we could do it here. The community around there, you know, I've heard everything from wildlife issues to traffic and so forth, so I had to segregate a few things out of there to make them happy, and I said, okay, I think honestly, go-kart out there, electric go-karts would be great for the community. They're like, oh, we don't wanna hear, I go, it's electric, you're not gonna hear them because they're electric. We've got 950 parking spaces, Monday through Thursday, it's underutilized, why not give the opportunity for somebody to open a small business Monday through Saturday doing go-karts on one of the parking lots, it will not hurt it.
So when you say they're saying no, the community, and you haven't been to a planning commission, when you say no, it's been at the LULAC meetings, or who has been saying no?
County staff,
County staff?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where, you know, because we're dealing with that right now. too,
Correct.
You know, and, you know, I'm not gonna repeat what you said, but this is why, I didn't know everything you guys were doing, right? And if it wasn't for her turn, and then passing this on today, they didn't know everything you were doing, and we all got excited, so can you imagine doubling all of that?
no, you're correct.
So we can support you, we're excited about it because we don't have stuff like that in our area. And, you know, you're giving business back and those opportunities, everything that you talked about sounds powerful, especially the partnership with our students, I'm even more excited about. Because now, I heard you say Palma, but you're gonna do North County too, right?
Yeah, no, I'm hoping for North County.
But here's the deal though, you know, there's different ways we can strategize around that. You know, we have our LULAC social media page that we can also promote. This meeting on October 9th, we can draft a letter, you know, with a lot of our community members. And from LULAC, you know, support, you know, advocating and or speaking on behalf of the community. We can also have people attend this meeting and speak on behalf. You know, so there's different ways that we can do it, because when we went out there to that planning commission meeting, the first time that we went out there, and we did it on social media, we got so many people supporting us, you know. And so now, you know, we have it finally on the agenda, we're gonna be in front of the planning commission on September 25th. So, October 9th is around the corner, but it could be doable at least get that support in front of them. Any other recommendations, guys? I mean, we got the letter, we get people there, we got social media, but again, we wanna make sure that you're comfortable with that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, I mean, I myself, to be honest with you, I kinda stay in my lane. And I stay in my lane, I focus what I have to do, but support is embraced. I mean, of course I want support, especially for my local community, because this is my backyard. I grew up a block away from here, and this is where we're at, and so I invest back in here. Yeah, I'm totally excited to be able to go back to North County, because be able to show how to start small business, and then before you know it, you're here, you know. And for me, it's like, look, the older we get, we got passed the baton to that younger generation. And it's just another way of where, for me, it was an outing, everything from sports to raising funding money, to understanding the right people to surround yourself with. And I started when I did my first business coming back from school. I was over on Sanborn at the flea market selling my auto parts when I started my business. Turns out, 30+ years later, you know, I own the largest flea market in Monterey County. So for me, you are correct to be able to tell people, look, I did grow up in Castroville. We did grow up around Wisconsin, but there is ways to understand how to be successful in anything we do.
Right.
And I'm not afraid to say that because it's a proven roadmap that I endured. So,
So I know we're over, and I wanna see if there's one more question?
So I was wondering if you would want our support at the next LULAC, because to be honest with you, that one lady, she is really pushing against that zoning on the plaza. She like wants to drop you dead on that. And not only that, but she's also a neighbor resident, and it just seemed like everybody that was there was a neighboring resident, not necessarily us that are also in North County, but don't live next to the Red Barn, who could,
Absolutely.
yeah, would love to see it
yeah.
open up in that way.
When is your next date on the LULAC?
We're waiting for Mary Israel's report to be finalized but it has to be before that October 9th
Right.
meeting. So I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks, and the answer to your question is I'd love to be able to have support. That's awesome. If I can get support, that's the big.
Thank you for bringing that
I
up.
think that LULAC needs to see that the other property, all the other people that pay property taxes there
Sure.
want it.
Correct. No, you're right, you're correct, and it's not an Aromas thing, it's a North County.
It is
County.
North County.
So, and that's where I look at to be able to say, yeah, absolutely. The more support I have to say, yeah, we've been waiting for wanting something like this, and it does help. You know, a single voice only gets heard so many times.
Right.
So when do they have the LUAC meetings? Remember I thought they were every,
Well, his doesn't come back until that report comes back, right? They had pushed it off until they can reassess because you took stuff off the table.
Correct.
And that one lady was like, you asked for weddings, and she just kept saying, but no quinceañeras, right? But no that's like she was like a broken record. It's like,
Right.
wait, what's wrong with quinceañeras? Weddings?
Same concept,
Quinceañeras?
yeah.
Something doesn't sound right here. So then that was the other lady.
So
yeah.
I'll forward you
let
the
us know when the
information.
LUAC meeting is, and then we'll pass it on through
Where's
our
that
street.
being held?
So
That one's held at the library.
Freedom Library.
Yeah.
Go to the library, yeah. Yeah, no, I'll forward that information, and like I said, I could appreciate support, especially from folks in other North County areas, like you just said, hey, we're taxpayers too, and it's not a one voice out there, and a lot of the community that was out there for and opposed is around there. But, yeah.
Okay, so any other questions, because I know we're running behind schedule, but, I really appreciate you coming.
Oh, I'm
I'm glad
sorry.
that it was meant to be, you know, to connect in this fashion, because this is what we do. We wanna support, you know, individuals like you that are just for the betterment of our community, and we need stuff like that, you know, for our gente. Everybody, they work so hard here, to have something locally instead of having to go somewhere else, it'd be great to have something in their backyard. So, thank you for being here, and I applaud you for just even having to deal with this for 4 years with the county. I get it, it's not easy, it's not easy.
It's a
So,
tough one.
it is a tough one, but thank you for pursuing it, and we're here to back you up, we support you, and we can rally the troops, you know, we can pass it on. All of us know a lot of other family members and friends in this area. Start sharing the word on what he's trying to accomplish, and we can rally in more people.
Well, I appreciate that, and again, I apologize for the timing.
That's okay, you made it though.
I know, but thank you guys so much for taking the time, especially of your evening, and I appreciate the support, and like I said, it's being in our backyard, hopefully we can create something that can benefit everything from nonprofits, schools, ourselves, and have a venue of our own.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sal. All right, so we're done, we're gonna get started, we're gonna finish our meeting here,
Okay.
and, I
Thank
really
you. Any
appreciate it.
questions, let me know.
No, we'll talk
And
to you,
then-
okay?
okay,
Thank you for
thank you.
coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
you.